Kyle. He's going to speak to what we did and obviously where we're at as of today. So thanks, Kyle, for being here.
Absolutely. My name is Kyle Green. I am the CEO of the Greenway Conservation Club as well as the Greenway Outdoors TV show on History Channel. I grew up in Michigan. I shot my first duck in a managed waterfowl area. I've gotten to know a lot of people through the Department of Natural Resources. I've got to know a lot of people that are just avid duck hunters. This last week has been a whirlwind, and I'm excited to say, and I hope this is a glimmer of hope, because I know this is a lot of negative information and it's, budgets and those sorts of things, but I'm hoping this will be a glimmer of hope on how the public, the Department of Natural Resources, and the NRC can work together. And it's obviously, as we're going through these budgets and we're talking about them, there's almost like a defensive tone in the sense of like, I'm telling you, it's basic math. Like, look at this, because there is a bit of a distrust that has been built over time, and I've seen it since I was a kid, between the Department of Natural Resources and the people. And my hope is that through the projects that we work on together, that we can build that relationship back up, because at the end of the day, we are all in this together, and we are all a team, and we all need each other. So one of the overwhelming messages here today as well is talking about that 2% year after year after year after year. And everybody in this room cares deeply about the natural resources. They care deeply about, hunting, fishing, trapping, the American and Michigan heritage that we have here. But we need to get more people involved in the outdoors. The outreach has to be a step up from everybody in this room at every level. Because 60% or more of hunting and fishing licenses are sold to white males over the age of 55. I love those guys, but they're not going to be with us forever. So we have to replace that demographic, get the younger generations involved, and that we all have to be held accountable for that. So I want to thank everyone today, that is having these conversations, the people that showed up today. And I'd like this piece to be a glimmer of hope and excitement and something that is saved. First and foremost, if you've been living under a rock the last 24 hours, Fish Point, Nayanquing Point, Shiawassee Flats, and Harsens Island, where I shot my first mallard, are all going to be going back to 7 days a week, 2 duck draws per day. So a big win for the waterfowl hunters. We're very excited about that, but it couldn't have happened without some incredible people. So State Representative Ken Borton, State Representative David Martin, I met with them directly. I met with Shannon Lott, who is now one of my good buddies, and we talked through a possible fix for this. And that possible fix is to bring in, and I don't know all the lingo, but I'll just say part-time, even though I know for sure that's not the right code, but we'll say 8 part-time employees, 2 at each managed waterfowl area, to make sure we can go back to how it was. And we did that through raising $80,000, and of course the cooperation of State Representative Ken Borton and David Martin and the Department of Natural Resources coming together. We met on Monday. It was a beautiful meeting, and I will say this, the positivity in that room and the way that everyone was coming together to help solve this problem, because they wanted to solve the problem for the duck hunters. It was like looking behind the curtain and getting to see that everybody's like, no, actually we're all on the same team here. It was special, and it gives me hope for this state, truly. And for the future of it to be in that room. But this isn't possible without that $80,000. So I'd like to just take 1 second to let everyone know who put in that $80,000. Because I don't matter, Greenway Conservation Club doesn't matter, the DNR doesn't matter, nothing matters unless these people stepped up. So first and foremost is the Harsens Island Waterfowl Hunters Association. Mike Wessels, Dan Matska, and John Zenz were incredibly helpful. I had conversations with all of them, and they put in $20,000. Shiawassee Flats Citizens and Hunters Association, Brian Cease and I talk about 16 times a day. Colton Beckman introduced me, and I know a lot of those people are here to have their voices heard as well. And they put in $20,000. Ducks Unlimited stepped up, and it wasn't a fight. You go to these wild game dinners and you go to these situations, you're like, is the money really going to? They call me and say, what do you need? What do you need? It wasn't a fight, it wasn't difficult, it wasn't hard, and they chipped in $20,000. I know Delta Waterfowl is here today, and they're putting in $10,000. And then the Michigan Duck Hunters Association, Drew Dieters especially was helpful with this, put in the remaining $10,000. Now we're going to be selling some shirts and doing some fundraising to try and give funds back to those organizations so that they can use it for what they were going to use it for. But I want to thank each and every one of them for stepping up. As a kid that learned to duck hunt in Michigan, as a kid that loved managed waterfowl areas, as somebody who cares passionately about Michigan, our natural resources, Thank you for stepping up, and let this be a lesson to everybody how much waterfowl hunters actually care, how important these managed waterfowl areas are. Understand that they are the best of everything our state really is. When it comes to managed waterfowl areas, you can't think of a better example than the managed waterfowl areas as far as genuine, beautiful interactions between the Department of Natural Resources and the people, incredible wetlands for millions of ducks that use it every year. It's because of us they have the food and the travel to get where they're going. It's the great first experience for the duck hunter who's never been duck hunting before. It's a great experience for a duck hunter who's on his last leg and just needs an easy place to get out and go, and everyone in between. They're beautiful. I want to thank Shannon Lott for leading her team, and everybody that was up here talking today, they were all in the meeting as well. The spirit of it was positive, and I know a lot of people are here today to talk about the wetland wonders, and I think that that's awesome. Have your voice heard, but just know that when I was in that room, I wasn't met with pushback. I wasn't met with people that were trying to add problems to it. They solved it together, so we need to celebrate the good when the good is here, and this is a win for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you, Kyle.
Can I ask you just a couple questions?
Yeah, you can ask me 7.
Okay, so how many hunters do you and your groups that support this represent?
When you say that, what do you mean? We started this company like 7, 8 days ago.
Well, I mean, like the group that you represent, your platform, followers, that kind of thing.
Oh, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
With the Green Outdoors itself, we average a little over 1.5 million views per episode. So you can multiply that however you want on the History Channel. Through our vlog series, podcast series, we do millions of impressions per week. As far as who those individuals are specifically, it's hard to track, but
So I'm curious too, with the number now being approximated, are you guys in support of that fee increase that the DNR is proposing? And what are you doing in those efforts?
I haven't begun those efforts yet. So I'm looking at the budgets, and that brings me to a good point too, is when you look at the budgets, and it was set up here too, that this is a Band-Aid, right? This is a fix for 1 year. This isn't the permanent fix. So I met with State Representative Tim Borton and David Martin again, even after, since we had the meeting on Monday, to talk about this 100% can't be the norm. I don't want to have this conversation next year. Managed waterfowl areas matter. We have to figure out a way to do it. And I think Shannon can attest to what she saw in the meeting as well, that they were like, yep, we'll fix it. We'll get together and we'll fix it. And we have momentum right now, right? So I'm going to stay on it. My goal is to get this problem solved fast so that next year we're not in the same meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Just some comments. Obviously, this is pretty problematic, right? I mean, it's great that the stakeholders stood up and stepped up. Amazing to see, but this is problematic. What we're seeing is a direct impact on our users trying to enjoy the public resource. There was a slide that was shown earlier about a House proposal that showed a $19 million cut to the law enforcement division, along with a cut of 233 employees, which presumably would have impacted every division, including law enforcement. To put a human face on this, just a few days ago, our conservation officers were involved with the rescue of 3 individuals. You take away the funding, you take away the personnel, those rescue operations become more and more difficult. These impacts have real life, everyday impact on all of us. We might not realize it, but we often take it for granted. Commissioner Walters is chair of the Wildlife Committee. I'm chair of the Fisheries Committee. We've been working on a little something, a resolution to get a funding increase to share that resolution with our state partners. And Madam Chair, I don't know if this is just a good time as any, instead of saving it for later, to go ahead and just do the resolution now, or would you rather wait until later?
Let's hear the public testimony and then we can take it up.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Just a comment. Thank you for stepping up and being the spokesperson for all the various groups related to duck hunting. It takes folks like you that take the leadership to do what you've accomplished, and I think that's a massive step forward. And duck hunting and the waterfowl and the wetlands are the tip of the iceberg. This is not just a duck hunting problem. This is problematic across all wildlife and all fisheries in this regard, so your leadership is not taken lightly, so thank you.
Thank you. That means a lot.
All right, thank you, Kyle. So to wrap